Hi everybody, this is Taz. Welcome to Taz's Wig Closet today. Today I'm going to compare three very similar wigs, but with very different price points. What I have on right now is the new Rene of Paris Evanna in the color Rose Gold R. And then I'm also going to compare this to the Jon Renau Julianne in 12 FS8 and the Scarlett by Jon Renau in 12 FS8. So we're going to compare prices. We're going to compare my thoughts on all three of those wigs. So this color, Rose Gold R, actually reminds me a lot of that 12 FS8 color, but I think it's brighter. It has a little brighter highlights in it. And you'll see in the back where those highlights are very much thicker at the nape. The lighter highlights are more prevalent at the nape than on like typical 12 FS8 might look like on a wig of this length. So let's take a look. This is being described as a medium gold blonde with some very light gold blonde highlights and then a medium dark root. Okay. So, and I'll show you what I mean here on the highlight pattern. See, there's a lot of highlights up underneath. Now I did did a video on the honeycomb brown on this style, and it had a lot of neat gold highlighting up underneath and throughout the nape as well. And they call that backlighting or underlighting. I think it is underlighting. So the highlights are concentrated underneath as opposed to typical around the face. This is a beautiful color, and I want to compare to that 12 FS8. So I have my Scarlett right here. So here she is, and it again has a medium gold blonde base with some lighter, almost platinum fine highlights throughout. But I still think the rose gold is a bit brighter and possibly a tad ashier. Regardless of the title, I think maybe this 12 FS8 seems just a bit warmer, perhaps. And then typically underneath it's more dark. So I love and enjoy both of those colors. So Evanna, let's talk about the specs. Evanna has about 11.5 inches off of the sides and off of the crown with a little bit of like a 4-inch nape, and it weighs about 3.5 ounces, so it's very comfortable. It has a great lace front. Now that lace front isn't terribly deep, but it does come with some baby hairs. And what I really love about this cap is that the way the hairs are sewn into the sides of the cap here, it gives tremendous coverage. It obscures that wig line completely, so you can get a lot of neat styles out of this and away from the face and pulled back, and it looks great. It does have a left-hand mono part. One thing about this wig, there's not a lot of permatease, which is very different for the typical Rene of Paris or Noriko design. So there is some permatease there around the mono part and on the crown, and a little bit in the usual places around the ear and the nape, but it's not thick and heavy. It just seems real breathable. And then when you couple that with this light density fiber, it just makes a winning style. Now the ear tabs on this, despite having all that awesome coverage, the way those fibers are spliced in there, the ear tabs don't have bendable wire in them. And that is fine. I think the way they sewed the fibers in around those ear tabs gives you the amazing coverage without having to have those bendable wires. So really cute style, effortless movement, great lace front, and limited permatease on Evanna. So I'll go ahead and do a spin. be careful to keep my balance when I'm doing those spins. All right, so this is Evanna by Rene of Paris in Rose Gold R. And so next up will be my Julianne by John Renau in the color 12 FS8. Thank you for hanging in there. Okay, so again, this is Julianne by John Renau in the color 12 FS8. And again, compared to the rose gold, it's very similar, but I think that rose gold might be a tad brighter. The way the highlight pattern is, it's very light, but it still has that amazing dark root. Really pretty. So just a quick peek under the cap while I have it on. Okay, so here's Evanna under the cap. The rose lace around the left mono part here, that's where the permatease is. And then you can see the lace front here. And then this is where I showed you where those fibers are spliced in there in a way that really obscures that wig line. I love my Ellen Villa Wiki that also does the same thing there. And then open cap, plenty of stretch. And then you can see all that highlighting there. So very nice cap. Now Julianne is about 10.5 inches, and there's a little bit more layering and things here, so it does have a slight angle to Julianne, but typically just about the same length as Evanna, maybe a tad shorter, but Julianne is 100% hand-tied, and we all know what that means. That means it's a higher price point. I think this is $438, but really you can't beat the comfort and enjoyment from a completely 100% hand-tied cap. They're just a dream to wear. And the lace front, and then a full mono top there. This Julianne has seen a lot of wear. She still looks great. And so I think this is $438. The Evanna is around $135. So let's take a look at Scarlett next. Okay, so I'm back in my Scarlett by John Renau, and this Scarlett has seen better days, but she's still kicking, and I like to wear her once in a while. I pull her back. Look, see, the ends are just, they're getting to the end of their life period. So we compare this tassel curl nature, and that's why I brought out Scarlett as well as the Julianne and the Evanna, because I think they're right there in that same curl pattern, wavy, tousled nature. So let's take a look at Scarlett. Now I think Scarlett retails around $190, and she just has that lace front, no monofilament part or top. Lots and lots of permatease on Scarlett. If anybody has owned a Scarlett, you know what I mean. There's a lot of little hairs that kind of stick up, and I like to get in there and separate those fibers up in that permatease part, and sometimes switch up the part just to obscure that a little bit. But I've really enjoyed the Scarlett. Now Scarlett weighs about 2.7 pounds, so it's actually ounces. So it's actually a little bit lighter than Julianne, which is 3.5 ounces, and the Evanna, which is a similar 3.5 ounces. But you really can't tell the difference. I mean, that's just a fractions of ounces there. You really probably can't tell. This has very light fibers, just like the Evanna. And like I said, there's just a lot more permatease in my opinion, and the coverage probably isn't as good, but it's not terrible. I still have some bio hair there. Okay, so this is the Evanna compared to Scarlett. A little bit of a looser curl pattern compared to the Julianne. Also, Scarlett is around 11.5 inches, and then it says 9.5 inch there, but I think it looks longer than that. And I just have a feeling that it's because of the curl pattern. Sometimes with curl pattern like that, you just can't tell exactly what the measurement is, but they're all right there about the same. So there's the rose gold, here's the 12FS8, and here they are, side by side. Okay, so here's Miss Julianne. difference, how the light plays off of both of these colors. And Julianne has a bit of a wavier curl pattern. I think this is more loose. And I think the same with the Scarlett as well. Okay, so let's recap real quick. Evanna, Rose Gold R, very similar to the 12 FS8. Price point about $135. Features a lace front, a left mono part and open cap, very little permatease, and very lightweight. So with your Julianne, again, that price point being higher because it's completely 100% hand-tied cap with a lace front and full mono top, and this one retails around $438, perhaps just a tad shorter than both Scarlett and the Evanna. Okay, so then we have Miss Scarlett here, and she weighs about 2.7 ounces, slightly lighter than the other two. Price point around $190, and just has the lace front here, and then open cap with lots of permatease. So if I had to choose a favorite, I would choose Julianne just because of all those deluxe features on the cap. So very comfortable, and it's just one of my all-time favorites. However, if I was on a budget and somebody said to me, I'll give you one Julianne, or I will give you 3 Evannas, what would you choose? So that's a harder question. And I think I would choose the Evannas. That way I could have a variety of colors, because the differences to me, I can live with it. I'd like to have a hand-tied cap occasionally, but for every day, I do not mind open cap. Plus it has the lace front and the monos, so we do have some realistic features there. So the price point does kind of win. So that's a comparison of Rene of Paris Evanna and Rose Gold R, Julianne by John Renau in 12 FS8 Shaded Praline, and then Scarlett by John Renau in 12 FS8 Shaded Praline. I hope you enjoyed the comparison. See you next time on TAZ's Wig Closet.